Let's get right into it. December 8th, 2012. I had two goals: make it to freshman basketball practice on time and figure out how to stop a month-long headache. By 3 p.m., basketball didn't matter. High school didn't matter. I was standing in an imaging room looking at a 3.5 centimeter tumor in my brain. And hearing a doctor tell my mom that we need to get to a neurosurgeon immediately. That was day one of a lifelong war. My name is Jake Legas, and this is how I survived stage 4 lung cancer. All right, welcome back to the show. Before we dive into the chaos of that day, I just want to say thank you. Whether you're a friend, family, or just someone who stumbled across this podcast, it really does mean the world to me that you're listening. Most people see where I am now. I've got a loving girlfriend, a stable home, a family that's my absolute rock. But the road to thriving was littered with moments of utter hopelessness. And I'm going to be real with you. There were days where I wanted to give up. But looking back, I wouldn't be the man I am today without the journey. So strap in and let's get into it. I grew up in a middle-class town. I was the youngest of 3 boys. I was competitive, a little stubborn, and pretty much felt invincible. Life was carefree until that December. For about a month, I'd been dealing with these throbbing migraines. And I was 15, so I did what any tough kid does, ignored it. I was popping Advil 10 times a day just to get through school. We saw 3 different doctors. My blood work was clear. Physicals, clear. Finally, my mom, and thank God for her intuition, demanded an MRI, just as a precaution. I actually told her it was a waste of time. I just wanted to get back to the court. So on a Saturday in December, I got an MRI. And I remember it so well. The sound of the MRI, that annoying ass thumping noise. Afterward, I was sitting in the waiting room, just checking the clock, getting annoyed because I was going to be late for basketball practice. Then a nurse walked out. She didn't call my name. She asked for my mom. And I wasn't sure what the protocols were. I was 15 years old. And the medical field was so foreign to me in that moment. I had no idea if you're supposed to tell my mom things before me or what the case was. If you've ever been in a hospital, you know what the silent treatment is. It's when the staff stops making eye contact and the room goes quiet. It feels like your gut knows before your brain does. When I finally walked into that patient room, I saw my mom's face. She's a tough Italian woman, but she was holding back tears. The doctor pointed to the screen. There was a golf ball-sized tumor right on my cerebellum. And the cerebellum is really just the back part of your brain where your spine ends, and it's responsible for coordination, cognitive functions, memory. It's extremely important. Then the radiologist said something that I've heard way too many times. He said, "You're going to be okay, but I have some bad news." He told us we needed to get to a neurosurgeon immediately. Right then, you have 2 choices. You can sit in the car and cry about it and ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? Or you can start doing research, write down a plan, and execute that plan. And that's the only productive option. So my mom chose the plan. We sat in that parking lot for 30 minutes, researching the best neurosurgeons in the Chicago area. We bypassed all the local spots because we didn't just want a quick fix. We wanted the best solution. So we headed to Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago. That 40-minute drive felt like a lifetime. I went from worrying about high school drama and chemistry tests to wondering if I'd even see my 16th birthday. Everything just turned off. So we finally got to Lurie Children's Hospital and were put on the neurosurgery floor. My mom had her heart set on a specific veteran neurosurgeon, Dr. Tomita. But in an emergency, you get whoever is on call. The odds were 1 in 5. The door opens, and in walks Dr. Tomita. And I was scheduled for a brain craniotomy later that day. That was one of the few times where the odds were in my favor. The surgery took 7 hours. They cut a rectangle out of my skull, resected the tumor, and stapled me back together. I woke up 8 hours later, and honestly, felt like I had won. I had my speech, my memory, my movement, all my cognitive functions. I thought, okay, cool, one and done. Back to school in 2 weeks, back in the starting lineup in 3 weeks. But that's never how it works. So I'm going to pull up an MRI that was done right before the surgery. And as you can see there, the first image is looking at the very back of my brain. And the bottom of the image is my spine and neck area. And you can see right where that spine ends and the brain starts, there is an enhancement in the very back left of my cerebellum. And yeah, it's about golf ball size. It was 3.5 centimeters. And then the second image is really just a side view. The leftmost part of that is an eyeball. And you can see again in the very back by the neck, spine area, there is definitely an enhancement where it doesn't look consistent with the rest of the brain and the healthy tissue. So, I mean, this makes it real. Like seeing these scans and seeing radiologists and neurosurgeons and oncologists pull up your scans and show you what's actually going on in your body, it makes it so much more real. And, I was having headaches, but I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this to be happening in my brain. So after the brain surgery, Dr. Tomita came back in to check on me. He was happy with my recovery. But then he dropped a bomb. He told us that based on what he saw during the brain resection, he didn't think the tumor started in my brain. And I was thinking, what does that mean? Where'd it come from? I have a million questions. Are you sure? It's like climbing a mountain and finally reaching what you think is the peak, only to realize you've actually reached the base of an even bigger, more dangerous mountain. I wasn't at the finish line. I was still in the starting corral. After the surgery, I was released from the hospital 3 days later. And looking back, it was way too soon. I was playing the tough guy card, telling everyone I was fine, because my ego wouldn't let me show any weakness. The second I got home, I walked in my basement and I felt it. I was terrified. I'd become dependent on hospital monitors and nurses just to feel safe. I ended up vomiting almost immediately. And I don't know if that was because of pure fear or exhaustion or side effects or really what happened to this day. My parents and I had 2 weeks to wait for the PET and CT scan results to find out where this thing actually started. And this happened over Christmas and New Year's and all the holidays, and doctors weren't really around. So we got to sit and wait for 2 straight weeks, just wondering, where did this thing come from? And that was an anxious 2 weeks. But we finally got back the results. But that is where we're going to pick up next time. Next episode, we found out exactly what we're fighting. Thank you for listening to Despite Adversity. I'll see you in the next one.